Okay, and we're here with Ericka Lesley, candidate for Rent Control Board. Hey, Ericka, how's it going?
All right, how you guys doing?
Good. So do you want to just start by telling us about your campaign, why you're running for your first full term on the Rent Control Board?
I'm running because I want to help people. Just that simple. I saw the need of our community members during the pandemic when I was out trying to just assist those that weren't on the list to receive free food that was being provided. And I saw a lot of need. And I just developed a desperate need to see everybody be okay during the pandemic.
Great. So I wanted to just start by asking you a couple of questions that I think you left blank on the questionnaire. So I'm just going to follow up on those. First of all, what do you see as the biggest challenges to keeping tenants in their homes in Santa Monica?
Well, number one, tenants not knowing their rights. Number two, uh, as they say, greedy landlords. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Because once the 6% was even on the table, I received a lot of information from community members who were saying, long-term community members that have been in their units for over 30 years, saying that their landlords no longer wanted to accept their rent because they were chomping at the bit to evict them, to, you know, just to get them out of their units so they can get more money.
Okay, thanks. And then the other question that there is, are there any current trends in real estate speculation patterns that you see as an issue for the spirit of the charter?
I don't think that I am well enough versed to answer that question. I'm looking at things, but I'm not I can't predict the future right now. Because everything's up in the air so much, you don't know which way it's going to turn.
Okay, that's fair. And then the one other one that was left blank, we just wanted to ask, and this is not a litmus test or anything, but we just wanted to check with regard to your campaign contributions. You said that you would not take money from fossil fuel companies or from police unions, but with regard to development firms and their lobbyists, are you also committing to not taking money from those groups?
Yes.
Great. Okay, we'll leave it to the next person. Melissa, are you available? Okay. Go ahead, Melissa.
Sorry, it got really loud outside. So I had to close the window. Ericka, I have a question for you. Obviously, in your questionnaire, you talked about, the need to in different ways that the city could meet certain requirements for affordable housing in the RHNA targets. I always said RHNA, but I think everyone says RHNA. I just wanted to hear a little bit more about how you think you would use your position on the Rent Control Board to help ensure that the city meets those targets for affordable housing. Obviously, you don't control all the things from that position, but how would you use kind of your platform of the Rent Control Board to push that along in the right direction?
Well, first off, when I'm out in the community, I do reiterate how important it is for us to have affordable housing, and how what the main subject right now on a lot of people's lips, or the main thing that is the main focus in most of the places where I am, are homelessness, or unhoused neighbors. And I reiterate to them that that's where affordable housing comes in. We can get people off the street with affordable housing. They can go from living on the street to being, not necessarily your neighbors, but once people are housed, it's a way of reforming people to come back into society in a positive light.
Thank you. Let's go to Isabel.
Yes, hi, Ericka. I was kind of intrigued by one thing that you said under social justice, that you would like the right to return to include home ownership. I'd be interested to hear more about that.
So I think that the right to return is a great start. However, there were people that lived here in Santa Monica that owned homes, and nowhere near touches upon that. You know what I'm saying? From going to a homeowner to becoming a renter in Santa Monica, as you know, that a lot of the units that are being built now aren't that big. And if you go from, say, I'm being very generous, maybe a 2,500 square foot house to maybe a 960 square foot unit, it's uncomparable. And how is that social justice?
I'm not sure if I understand. Oh, are you talking about people whose homes were like confiscated from eminent domain? Or are you talking
Yes,
about
that's what I'm
people-
referring to. That's exactly what I'm referring to.
Okay.
Okay, Raina?
Yeah, you actually brought up homelessness right when I was going to ask a question about it. And, you know, the majority of the people who are homeless in Santa Monica are African Americans. And you mentioned implementing programs to go to them, to help them with housing. Do you have any examples of, or any sort of plan idea of what something like that might look like?
Well, I know that there is a business that I've worked with in my, in my private life or my job life, as you can say, that offers a van that goes around and has computers on it, and it connects people in real time to services. Because what people don't understand, and I've said this on other platforms, that people that are unhoused, that once they connect to those services, they have a certain amount of time to get to the place or the shelter where they will have a bed. By the time they get there, it might be too late. And if you get there too late, they can't get that bed anymore. So they wind up back on the street. It's a big merry-go-round. It's just around and around they go. If you can connect people to services and also maybe transport them there, that would be a way to also get more people off the streets.
Thank you. Anyone have the next question? Okay, let me, oh, go ahead, Dan, go ahead.
Patricia.
Hey, Erica. In your questionnaire, you say the Ellis Act needs to be reformed. Can you expound on that a little bit? What ways would it need to be, or what ways do you think it should be reformed?
Well, there are people that have Ellis out tenants with under the guise that they are going to move into those units, and they'll leave the apartment or the unit empty for maybe a year or two, and then after that they put it back on the market, but not under rent control, just under fair market. They're not, they're not being fair to the tenants, and they're really most of the time offering the tenants less money than what they actually need for them to relocate and find new homes. So what I would do for Ellis is just to make sure that they have those units either have to be occupied by those owners, or they'd have to be vacant for at least 4 years at the very least.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Patricia, did you have one next?
Yeah, just a little one. Because Erica, I think when you say I'm running because I want to help people, I think that 1,000 people could say that, but only one of them would be telling the truth, and that would be you. And I really do believe that you're running because you want to help people. And I was going to ask you about the Ellis Act, but you already got to that. So I really appreciate that you stepped up to do this job, and it's a good thing. So I don't have any questions. I've been watching you and watching you, so I don't have any questions.
Dan, go ahead.
Thanks, John. So one of the most important things you probably have facing you as a board member in the next year is hiring an executive director, right? I'm curious, what qualities, what experience, what policies are you looking for in that next hire?
Well, I'm not looking forward to replacing the current person that's in this spot in the first place. Let's be perfectly clear. However, change is inevitable. I would hope that the person that replaced her would have empathy and compassion for the renters, that they would have a heart of equality, so that they would also have ears to listen to both sides before they make or pass any judgment, and make sure that they're knowledgeable enough to give resources to the tenants so that they know what their rights are. This is to name a few. I'm sure there's something that I'm missing in my capacity of, being a newly appointed member of the Rent Control Board. I'm sure there's more to it, but that's just for starters.
Gotcha, thanks. And if I was wrong, I was under the impression she was leaving, but I may have that information wrong. So, but helpful to understand.
Dan, she is leaving. What Ericka's saying is that she's going to hang on to her.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was like, shoot, do I have this wrong? No, that's helpful to understand kind of what qualities you're looking for. Thank you.
Great. Let's go to Isabel.
Yeah, so Ericka, so I'm just, figuring out here that you are newly appointed. How long have you been on the rent board?
It's been 1 month and probably 10 days.
Oh, okay.
It'll take about
Well,
15.
So I don't know if you can answer this question, because 1 month is not a long time. It probably just figuring out what's going on. But just in your 1 month on the board, what has captured your interest the most, and what do you want to? What were you most interested in working on?
Oh, I can answer that question actually.
Okay.
Diversifying the outreach in languages. I walked in the door trying to make sure that our Ethiopian community has outreach in their language, Amharic, Spanish, and English. And I'm trying to make sure that all of our pockets of our highest members of the population are informed in their native tongue so that they fully understand what's going on. And also community engagement. Those are my two focuses, just stepping into the role.
Great answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Ericka, I have one for you. We know that the city council committed last month during the discussion of the rent control to a community-wide conversation about rent control and how to potentially change it for the better. So when you enter that conversation, you being on the rent control board will be a key part of that. And what will you be looking for in that conversation in terms of how to best strengthen rent control for tenants in Santa Monica?
Well, first of all, I want to make sure that all community members and all partners are included in that conversation so that we can have a robust discussion. And then we can kind of pick it apart and try to figure out where the weaknesses are. So then we could strengthen it. Not so much that I can answer that question right now, because I think that deserves a little bit more study, to actually know how we can strengthen rent control. But I definitely want to make it a little bit harder for people to be put out on the street.
Got it. Cool. Thanks. Any other questions remaining? Okay, great. Well, thanks so much, Ericka. We really appreciate you stopping by today.
Thank you.